So you can almost always find somebody out in the courtyard who can talk to or play with.
The first benefit, I would say, is living with a wonderful group of people.
Well, for me, cohousing is when people are choosing to have community in their lives.
Because we know our neighbors more than people living in single-family homes.
When I came here, it just felt like I came home.
In the early 70s in Denmark, some people were looking for a better way of living.
I think they were looking for more community.
Some people who went to school over there and studied cohousing came back to North America and decided that this was an excellent model for housing and community in North America. So they wrote a book about it and have become the gurus.
The difference is that it's built to support a sense of community.
Our attempt was to make it attractive to lots of different kinds of people. So we have single women, single men, some working, some not. We have families.
And I love the kids. I wouldn't have that much exposure to kids if I wasn't living here.
And what I love about here is that Ethan or Alex or any of the kids or Amber can talk to anybody else.
There's people in sort of every age group here, all the way from infants to elders, and everywhere in between you can find here.
I think that's extremely healthy for us to not have a monoculture like that.
And there are also deeper levels that you can enter into cohousing.
We were involved for 3 years before move-in, figuring out what the shape of the building was going to be, how many units were going to be in it, and down to the final design and so on.
I would say that we're an environmentally aware group of people, and that we tried right from the construction stage to do whatever we could to do the right thing environmentally and sustainably.
We've then covenanted a very high percentage of open land, which we will not touch, but it has wildlife habitat value.
The other thing that's been really active here is car sharing.
We have one woodworking shop for 31 homes as opposed to 31 woodworking shops, and the list goes on.
Certainly, some of the concerns were that if you live in a place like this on top of each other, you wouldn't have privacy. That's certainly not been my experience. We don't flush people out of their homes. If they want to hide for 6 months at a time, it's totally possible to do that. But if you wanted to interact, it's right outside your door.
Different people have specialties in different areas. Some people are really great with computers, some people are great at fixing cars. So we kind of have this pool of knowledge that we share with each other.
We share a lot of things, like if I would have been at another house that wasn't cohousing, I wouldn't have like a trampoline, a ton of kids to play with, a big playroom.
We've got a lot of quality built into this building that's beyond the surface, sort of deep down, the kind of stuff you care about, roofs that don't leak and, all that kind of thing. Because we just made sure, as we were designing it, that we were going to get something we could live with.
Sloped roofs that are south-facing, so they'll take solar panels for domestic hot water.
We have these high-efficiency boilers, but they're even more efficient because the water that comes into them is preheated by solar heat.
Our units are not large on the scale which many people are accustomed to in our society today.
So we have from 680 square feet all the way up to
maybe
1,700 square feet for 4-bedroom homes.
Stacked townhouses, we have just 3-story townhouses that are ground to roof, and we have apartments it's a 4-level apartment building.
We have the guest room. We have a meeting room where people can sort of meet in a more professional way with someone. And then there's the more homey environment of the common house.
The theory being that you don't need as much extra space inside your unit because when you need more, you go use the common house.
The common house is a space that enables the community parts of cohousing.
It's really the heart of the community.
It's a very busy place. We have a wonderful kitchen, which is big enough for half a dozen people to be preparing a meal in at one time.
I think one of the best things about the Common House is the opportunity for us to gather on special occasions, for us to have meals there at least 2 or 3 times a week.
I've had yoga teachers come and teach in the multipurpose room.
Movie nights.
Pilates, yoga and belly dancing.
It allows us to have all sorts of experiences and interaction with each other that we wouldn't have, if we didn't have that common space.
The biggest benefit is that if I want to be alone, I just can can be alone. And if I want company, I just walk downstairs.
Well, there's always somebody here during the day.
To not be a lonely, isolated nuclear family where you have to drive your kid to somebody else's house to play with them, that sort of thing. And she's really grown up with an extended family here.
Your friends live 100 paces away. You can just go and visit your friend without having to make arrangements or anything.
Instead of going to their backyard or your backyard, you could just play in the middle.
So, it takes a village to raise a child is very much what goes on here.
Research says that living in community is very good for physical health, mental health, community's health too. We don't have an expectation that we're going to be taken care of by the community, but at the same time there's a lot of willingness and energy for being there for each other.
A lot of it just happens naturally.
Yeah.